7 seconds in. Has anyone in yet? Are those notifications going out? Did you, when you subscribed? Probably not. Ah, Timber! Well, one person did click the bell when they joined. 2, gosh. 30 seconds in and 2 people. So how's the video and audio on this one? Super. I'm on the other laptop I used last year, but it's a different camera. The camera I think I used the built-in camera last year, and the one I'm using is one of these. It's in 1080p. You can, I don't know whether you can change it on this, but if you do it in 640 res, you can use the remote to pan and tilt and zoom in on the picture, but you can't do it in 1080. I can't do it in 1080, unfortunately. I don't know whether it comes up on your end, but it's a zoomable, not zoomable in 1080. But I can change the exposure, contrast, and press the default button and get it back. And there is a camera mute and audio mute and a little zoom, but obviously that only works in lower res, unfortunately, but it does the job. It's also got a built-in ring light, reflect in my glasses, and you can change it from warm white, daylight, and or dim it and turn it off, which I don't think it really needs at the minute. I've got that one on as well at the side. Hi, Daz. But yeah, it's one of those cameras. I bought it. I have done a little video on it, but I haven't put it together. And I was looking for some that were okay, but not expensive, because I don't like spending more money than I have to for something to do the job. And I've got a couple of 1080p cameras that are copies of other 1080p cameras. I think it's a Chinese whisper. The further down the line the copies go, the less of the actual reality you get. But I came across these, and they were advertised as Angtube 862, and they were about, I think, 50-60 quid. And I was doing a visual search and came across these, which are exactly the same. And these are called Vitade 862s. And they do everything. So if you want an Angtube, just look at Angtube on YouTube and you'll find the reviews on this camera. But I bought one brand new X stock, I think, with the postage and shipping. It cost less than £14, and the other one cost about 9 quid with the shipping. Also, why I wanted them was because they've got the 3/8 quarter-inch thread in the bottom, so I can put them on the mounts. Do the full tilt if you have them overhead. I know Dave Scott's he was sent quite an expensive camera for review that basically costs about $80 to $90, and it does everything this thing does for $15. Other than I think it will zoom in 1080p. So obviously, because I thought, well, if I'm doing videos, hi Richard, I will see you Saturday and Sunday at Getz. If I'm doing instructional videos on the tabletop, then obviously this can film down on the table. And if you need a little bit of light, you just rotate the thing to do the dim. But yeah, they're quite well spec'd. Yeah, they're quite well spec'd. Obviously, if you're saying the video, and I did finally get round to watched Dwight's, and got the missus to bed, and what we have to do. And, thought I'll give it a quick test, a pre-gets test, and I'll keep me vocal cords oiled, courtesy of Brewdog. And the dog's yeah, he's as active as ever. Looky, biscuit. Want biscuit? Yeah, he's alive. So yeah, vomit cam over now. Hi Mick. And yeah, we've got a few in. So yeah, just thought I'd test this because I'll probably do a stream on the Saturday from the hotel room, see what we've got or what we haven't got. Yeah, Loki's resting, shall we say, after a hard day of doing resting, which apparently is quite tiring. I've done exactly the same on the other chair. So yeah, weekly videos will still roll out. I haven't actually been buying much, as much off of eBay. Model Bound Shop Lippy, on the other hand, and Amazon, I'd done a good little deal. I was after some batteries to take to get, and some for our thermostat in our wireless thermostat for the heating. And I thought I'll just have a look at Walthers, because I got that good deal the other week with the Ashmore, I think it was the Ashmore Hotel Walthers kit at about £10 less than the cheapest place in the UK, so was it. And one of the items, hiya Tom, one of the items I'm after for my refinery would be the refinery. Now, Model Bound Shop Lippy in Germany, it's £59, but they're out of stock. I think most probably European sellers of Walther stuff, the stock's depleted, and obviously they have to wait for the distributor for Europe or UK, if they're different, to replenish stocks for shops, because Jadlams are out, everyone's out. Already been stiffed by House of Hobbies. So I thought, I'll wait for this, and then I saw it on the Walthers listing on Amazon for £53 or £56, I think it was. And I thought, well, that's cheaper than it is without the VAT from Germany, so I'm having that. But they'd listed it in the description. They'd got the right item number, but they'd listed it as the modern cold storage, which happens to be even more money. So I thought, they've done this before. I could live with the cold store warehouse, because that's £64, but that has got a bigger footprint. But it is on my, if I've got enough room, I would buy it. So I thought, well, if it is a cock up, I'm going to get an even better kit for less money than they're retailing it at, because they're ballsed up, basically. So today that turned up correctly. So it was still a win. It's still £14 cheaper than it is, or £3, depending on where you shop, really. But today Amazon have got it up for £73.50. There was only 2 in stock when I bought that, and now £73 12 hours later. So it was a good spot, good find, which it is worth occasionally looking at Amazon, but you've got to be careful you don't see the ones that are cheap and then the postage is down the bottom of the column because it's coming from Germany, and I can't remember the name of the company, but they're quite expensive on postage, so the shine is very much taken off of that. But I have also invested in some products from ESU Loxan. This is the little test program thing where you can. Well, that's a chip actually. That's the programmer, and inside there is the tester as well. I've bundled them together now because it was actually cheaper than the copy of the ESU one from the guy in the UK that sells the Lay's DCC version, which is the old copy of ESU's one. So I thought, 29 quid, I'll buy the genuine one. And the lock programmer was 109. So basically, it's cost me for both what it would cost to buy it in the UK for one. So we will be programming our own sound for the 60s. And there's still a few Rogue 30s. I'm not going to do everything though. 58. I'd like to put sound in one of the old 58 Hellion 58s. That's of course a Kerascale are going to start making one, but then we'd be waiting another year, won't we? And I've still got to wait for my 31 because it's the Dutch livery, which gives me a chance to recover from going to the Run 237. And I did pick up one of the coaches as well that are en route. I bought the engineering one and used me points, so it only cost £33. So that will, I think they're in Run the 31s. Richard might know, but if he's still here. But yeah, I'm going to wait for that. Yeah, I think the German postage is about €10, €9.90. I think they've charged me on the 2 shipping because there's a couple of Fowler kits which are painfully expensive over here, and they're £40–50 cheaper. Even taking into consideration the €10 postage, as long as it's at the rate. As long as our glorious new leaders don't F things up after the 20th. In the next budget. Hi Dino. I'm keeping up the chat, waffling to myself. Did look at those Rivarossi coaches, Andy. They are, one of them's got one KD on the end, which is right close to the end of the coach. Don't know whether that's meant to be like that or not, because it marries up with the blue box variants. And the other end of it and the other coach have got the standard hook loop continental coupling, which is just in a little assembly. So I presume you could probably just put one of the KD boxes with the coupling and just glue it in or whatever. And then the rest are all the blue box ones, but they're all fitted with KDs because I had a quick scan through them. What I don't like about this camera is it's got autofocus, which seems to work relatively quickly. Oh yeah, Digger. But you can't fix it. You can't change it to manual. So if you're doing something, then it'll keep glitching slightly to refocus. Well, I mean, that ain't too bad because normally it's still looking at my face rather than me hand. Because you'll find that when you're showing things, it'll zoom into your hand and not the other thing. Hi Al, it's my turn to stream and drink beer, although this is the end of the second one. And are you still on target for a trip in the old Vanity up to Milton Keynes? We've got a few in. I'm just got 16 in and only 6 likes. I don't know whether that's live or not. I haven't got it on my main computer. Where are we? 25 views, 15 live, and the other bits off the screen. It's not normally off the screen. Never mind. Life goes on. This is annoying me, this warm white. Doesn't make a lot of difference anyway, does it? Yeah. Just makes the room a bit dingy in the corner. So yeah, self-programming for sound chips will be in my future. I think if I put 4 chips in, the cost of what you would pay a commercial retailer for sound file and chip covers the cost of buying the unit. So by the time you're on your 5th and 6th fitted one, you're saving money. A bit like my solar system. Although with the weather, I think it made 20 quid the other day or the other week, even with the crap weather. Coming in the car on the Sunday as the campsite is miles away. And the weather, yeah. Yes, the weather isn't going to be, well, it's going to be October weather, isn't it? Ain't so bad if you're in a van with a diesel night heater on or something, but yeah. You're just coming up for the day, then, or you're going to bunk in the old travel lodge or something. I know Pete's in the travel lodge, isn't he? Is he in the same place as you, Timber? Mark Donegal, a good evening. All the way from wet and rainy Donegal, as the weather shows. Actually, I did see a little bit, yeah, it's still spitting rain now. I went out about an hour ago and it was absolutely still quite mild, warm, wet. But yeah, it's soon changing. We've got the storm front coming in tonight, tomorrow, haven't we? And then there's an easing up, and then we get Storm Kirk. Although it looks, my last update, it's tracking more southward, so shit in France. What a pain in mind. Because obviously that means that people in Jersey and Guernsey are going to get rather wet as well, but say la vie. But it still looks like you're going to get fair dunking. Although last year I did get drenched just going from the hotel across the road to Marks and Spencer's to get, I think I got a jar of coffee or something, and got absolutely soaked. It was cloudburst rain, and they've got this slatted thing that looks very nice aesthetically, but it gathers rain and makes the drops even bigger. So it was like one of those invigorating showers that you don't want. Hi, Charlie. No problem. Just a bit of waffle, just testing this slightly aged laptop. It is Windows 10, but I got a new webcam. And this is an identical one that I'm holding because I bought 2 for later use in the shed because they've got the 1/4-inch mount on them as well, so I can use them. Whoops. I can use them on these mounts I've got. And then they've got the old whirly-girly arm thing there that you can twist and rock around in infinite positions. So I can set them up pretty much anywhere on the layout. And then I've got the, can't remember what they're called now, some kind of USB lead that provides power when you go over 5 meters, because obviously USB stuff doesn't work, presumably because there's too much voltage drop or data drop, which I have tested one. There is one running round here already, another one still in the pack. So yeah, there will be some routage of USB cables for cameras, but again, so like you were on about, Andy, some kind of control the system, because at the minute there'll be these two cameras, and then I've got a couple of the old HD cams. I don't know whether it's in the box or not. I did for Micro Mark 1, but that is 300 DPI or something. When I plugged it in, it didn't even want to work anymore. It had to died. So it's no sitting in a landfill somewhere. You hear the dog? See how sensitive the microphone is. Hi, Jay. So, get this out of the way. I've also got a tubing in their way from the land of plastic and Fong, AliExpress, for some small motors with even smaller axles. One hasn't been shipped yet for some reason, so I'm a bit dubious whether that'll get cancelled, because they've realised they're going to cost more than they've been offering them for or something. But it's a turbine, wind turbine, but it's actually like a differential drive with 2 axles, bearings, a little brass housing, and the worm drive and the other gear wheel, so you can power 2 axles out of one input. So I ordered that so I can attach another motor to it, possibly drive a lorry on the Fowler system. And then there's another, I think it's the N20 motor with the built-in gearbox, which takes an M1.7 metric screw in each end. So I'm going to just cut the heads off and run them down so that they'll take an axle and just stick a wheel on. Hopefully, anyway, that's the idea. And obviously the most engineering challenge would be making the front steering axles, which again from Germany I bought. I think they were about £9. A wheel set, which this one's for a 7.5 ton lorry, but looking at it, it was probably more of a van on an Oxford size. So I might order another couple anyway and have a go at making my own Fowler compatible car, van, trucks. Now that they're over £100 each, I'm not. I think there was a Mark III Golf on the site, and it was 109. Pansakura, yeah, I want for a little plastic toy car with an electric motor in it, 109 quid. When I bought a Radio Control 187 car or 164 for £5. Because that's why I bought the radio control car for £5, because I thought, well, I can take the bits out of it and maybe re-engineer them to drive an Oxford die-cast Ford Cargo or, whatever. Just finding some cheap Oxford vehicles as donor cars that you don't mind cutting the chassis about and messing around with them. See if we can convert them to work on the Fowler system. I mean, of course, obviously I've got to build the layout first before I worry about a Fowler car system. I haven't even got a plan as to where a road would go, let alone the track. But I haven't, did I can't remember. I think in my last off the tracks video, I think I was nearly completing the fence because the little mini dumper I'd got had broke the steering cable, which I didn't get done. But the opportunity while that piece of fence was down beyond what you saw on the video, my neighbour wanted some of my surplus soil. So we done a few wheelbarrows that evening, and then the next day he was out. So I said, well, I'll bung a few more over, because once I set the concrete gravel boards in for the fencing, they're not going to be bringing a dumper over the top of them. So I got rid of my mound of soil that the mini digger was sitting on, most of it anyway, and closed the fence off, and went all the way up to the back of the riverbank, much to the disapproval of my dog, because he now can't get round next door to play with their cockapoodle. He's lost his little playmate. So the fence is all done. I've got a short update to put up, just to sort of bring everything up to speed and see you next weekend at Get sort of thing. Because obviously my weekly video months behind what's actually happening in reality. I think they're now probably about June time. I think I'm at video 187 on my computer, and I think the one that's up this week is video 167 and 68, 69, I think, something like that. Anyway, there's nearly 20 videos worth time I've got all of that on the camera that are to edit up, which I'll probably do this week. I could literally not do anything, not buy a thing that you would ever know about till February before I'd actually you get a bit of mileage out of a week's video, you know. A week's buying would probably give me, well, depending on how much waffle I do. I thought maybe I should not talk while I'm unwrapping, because then I can cut the unwrapping bit out. But then you're still talking after the wrapping, so you're not always winning even that way. But yeah, there's quite a video backlog, and this one sort of ran the end of it because it would have been too long to edit. Each video will literally be me sitting there with the same tank cars, and the bits that fall out be me sitting there with the same tank cars, and the bits that fall out of them. Yeah, well, I think postage is a bit, but obviously there might be a bit more time because of the extra paperwork, but then that's part and parcel anyway, isn't it? I mean, I don't get anything with the stuff from Germany like I used to do when we used to ship stuff out of the UK, even when we were still in the EU. Paperwork we'd have to ship for a pallet load of beer. So yeah, next week I might even put it up early so that they sort of tie in more, because not everyone watches the same weekly video, do they? But then the following one, I've checked that one, and that does the same. The way the video editing is sort of done to keep the video down, I roll into the next video after that, which I think is video 170. So yeah, they are. I did in last summer put a couple out a week to catch up, but I thought with it being crap weather and it takes not the pressure off, but I haven't got to worry about producing content. Not that I'm a content creator. I don't consider myself that. But they're there. I've just got to bung one out and not worry about it. You know, if I'm not sort of. I've noticed stuff. There aren't the bargain. Not that there was a lot of bargains on eBay. they're getting harder to find than they were a few months ago, even though, let's say, the interest in the hobby has dropped somewhat. As sort of, the showstopper crowd has got fed up and abandoned the hobby, and sold up or just left it to collect dust in their attics again. But some of the prices are getting stupid. There seems to be, like, the toy dealers are now catching up that Railway was a thing, but they're late to the party. But there's some toy dealers on eBay, and you think you haven't got a frigging clue what you're selling. There's a chap one. There's a couple of old Lima Sea Line ballast cars, £40 and £45. When the new Hornby releases, 37 retail and 32 if you shop around. What are they smoking? Are they ex-Hattons employees or something? But there's a few on it. There's one, Arc Collectibles, I think it is. He got some Proto 2000 kits, which are an American kit like the old Athearn Blue Box. Models are slightly better detail, but not hugely. I bought a pair for £14. American covered hoppers. He's got about a dozen kits, £50 each. I'm like, where do you even get the price? Where they're not resale? I don't know. They're just looking at them. Oh, yeah, it's 50 quid. And he sent me, because I looked at it, I didn't watch it because eBay obviously tell the sellers, the vendors. So he sent me an offer of £45 for this kit he'd got up for 50, and I said, you must be joking. I just paid £15 for a pair. And he hasn't sort of, looked at sold items to see what they're making. They don't seem to care. They're just like, we'll put them on and wait for an idiot to buy it. And if it takes 6 months for the idiot to come along, it takes 6 months. And sadly, there's usually one turns up. Hi, Mark. No, I must admit, I'm not. I usually forget to press the bell when I subscribe to someone. I don't know why they don't just put it in the options when you press. Because I just watch my page feed every day anyway. So if someone's gone live or doing a live or scheduled, it's on my list. The only thing I would say is if you schedule too far ahead of time, then you get pushed down the row of other videos and stuff that people come and put out, and then you might get missed. Tend to schedule stuff. I don't think it makes a lot of difference with viewing figures and stuff like that. I don't worry too much about stuff like that. I don't do the content for viewing clickbaities, and it's just an old fart opening his toys every week, spending his pocket money. Yeah, I don't know. Are they still doing the Proto? I know they do the locomotive kits, don't they? Proto, but I don't think they do any wagons now, do they? But they're not. I haven't found a UK retailer of them. Anyone that is selling them has got, an estate clearance, and they're selling their stuff off. It is as new because it's still in cellophane or whatever, but there aren't a huge amount of American rolling stock retailers left now. I don't know whether Model Junction's still going. I haven't been on their website for a while, but they'd cleared everything bar one locomotive. The rest of it was just all general evergreen plastics and a few paints that were sort of rather vibrant colours. I think they had some of the American Road colour packs of American paints. Hi, Gary. but they didn't have a lot on unless you just want to buy evergreen stuff from that. How dim time? 10 o'clock. Yeah, that's like subs. I've gone twice up to 8.15 and then dwindled back down again to 8.14, 13, and then gone back up again. And now I noticed today I think it's dropped down again to 8.12, and it's like, is it just random sweeps from YouTube kicking stuff out? Because I noticed when it was like 500 mark, that was sort of like they were dangling the carrot, you know. Oh, you're $4.99. Oh, we'll take 3 away, then another 2, then we'll give you 1 back, and there's another 2, and it's like, oh, just give up, you know, stuff you. If you come, you come. If you stay, you stay. See you, Mons. I must have missed you there just what you've seen. You should have seen Great Eastern Model. She had a load of Triangle Track that they were getting rid of. Free, I think, or near enough free, which is quite unusual for Anne at Great Eastern Models to give anything away. So I don't know. The last one I've got is another. I was after another one because I've got the elusive TTS, but I didn't have a locomotive to put it in. Because the last time I saw an 08 TTS chip on eBay, it went for £90 plus £5 postage at a time when the ESU chips were about 110 quid. So I'm like, why would you pay nearly as much for a TTS chip as an ESU chip? No, I haven't got an 8-pin ESU chip but I got that for £70, and it's listed. It's a fairly new one because it's got the 184 quid price tag on it. So I'll have another one. Put the last of the TTS chips in. So they're obviously not going to make any more of them while they're doing this TXS stuff, which I don't know. I don't know whether they reverse engineered the Soundtrax Blunami chips. Because obviously the Soundtrax Blunamis were out well before Hornby announced their blue bit. Yeah, no worries, Mark. Life gets in the way of life, as I say. You know, my missus is disabled, so getting away to Gets is quite unusual. In fact, before that, I hadn't. I was a couple when I used to be involved with my other YouTube channel and the Brewtubers. There was, I think, a couple of beer festival type things. There's the Great British Beer Festival at some Charing Cross or somewhere. It's in one of the former railway halls. Then there's another one at Tobacco Docks, which I almost got to, but never did quite manage to get away. But my son's stepping in for the other duties while I'm away. But yeah, I did think about the Stafford going to that one, but probably next year. But then it's a bit further to drive. Or the one at Chatham, which I think is probably round about the same other side of London. I think London depending on what you call London, is about 100 miles from me. I absolutely hate the place. I would not go and drive there anyway. Certainly not with the Mr. Khan's tax on tax when you're already paying tax to drive on the road. I think if I had to go, I'd just take my number plates off and drive around. Not around the Golden Mile bit, but yeah, there's a lot of them are quite far away from me. Norfolk is a crap place to get anywhere. Even though I'm on the edge, if you're in Norwich, it's even worse because you've got to go down the A11 or cut across the A14 and go to the Midlands. For me, A1 north or south, I've got to drive to Peterborough, which is half an hour, just over half an hour, which isn't too bad. Or I've got to go on the old A17 up to Newark and drop on there, which is a crap road. It's the land that time forgot when it came to spending money on road improvements. And any talk of it, and it's usually coming up to an election, and then never happens. Arbit got parts of it dual carriageway several years ago, but nothing else much has changed since then. Considering it's sort of like the main route eastward from the northeast of the county out, or you've got to go again from Cambridge A14 to get to the Midlands or whatever. And then everywhere is a... I'm there from Friday, Mark. I'm going down on Friday, probably mid to late morning. I'm going to try and, because I got there early. I got there about 2 o'clock. You can't check into the hotel about till 3. So I sort of killed an hour going around IKEA and grabbing a few bits in the Asda, which is next door, and then checked in. But obviously, because you have to pay on the app for parking, there is a concession because you're a hotel patron at the Doubletree, which is the one built into the football stadium right next to the Marshall Arena. So I'm going on Friday till Sunday morning, but I'll be on site, but you have to check out. But the parking, I'm trying to leave, so I don't go over me parking and have to pay some silly fee just for an extra hour or something. But yeah, probably, I think you can check in from 3 o'clock, so 3 till Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'll probably have to leave Gets about 3. No later than 3. Ish, or unless I check in later, time I log into the the app. Because I know Peter Dixon was asking about it. I did message him on Facebook, but I don't know whether he's seen it. And because I mentioned the word Facebook on the message I gave him on YouTube, they probably blocked it because I'd done that the other night with Al. I mentioned Amazon and eBay, and then when I refreshed, my comment weren't there. Because that was only a tips to buy liking from Amazon and something else he was on about. I made a suggestion of an alternative source, and I think they think you're going to spam the chat immediately, even without a link. It was just a mention of the word eBay or Amazon. But I've had that before. Yeah, I went through Waterbeach railway station. Monday. Was it Monday? No, Tuesday. I actually used the train for the first time as an adult. The only other time I've gone on a train was back when I was about 13 in the BR days. We went to the Imperial War Museum in London on a school trip. I had to go to Addenbrooke's on Tuesday. And I thought, the time I drive from here, it's about an hour getting through Cambridge with all the bike anchors. And Then you've got to park in their leased out car parking at exuberant rates. Plus, I'm in a van, so I don't think I can get under the multi-story car park. So I thought, well, sod it, I'll try a train and a bus. But I applied for the Norfolk Council disabled bus pass and got that, and they allowed me to use it in Cambridgeshire. So I didn't have to pay for the bus, which was like a deli market in the morning, trying because everyone was going to work at one of the two hospitals on the route. Give her a walking stick, she'll be all right, Mark. Give her some painkillers and a bottle of whiskey. She'll be no trouble. Yeah, so I took the enjoyment of a British public transport from my local station. So I had to pay for parking there. I think it was £16.80 for the ticket, £2.60 for parking, and the bus would have cost £2 each way. But it was just under 20 quid not to drive. I would say if I'd have got free parking, it would have been cheaper to drive than go by train. But I thought, well, I'll try the experience of going on train. I did shoot some video and take some pictures and have a wander around the platform, some of which is on Instagram. And I was sort of taking a few pictures of the infrastructure. I did video it, but on the way back, I was sort of squashed up near the seat next to the window, so I couldn't get back to do a shot out the window. And because it was persisting down with rain, the camera was more intent on focusing on the rain on the glass than outside the window. And then obviously you're in a train doing 60, 80 miles an hour, so everything's but there was some sort of interesting bits that flashed past. I did notice, I don't know what they were there for. They were Total Gas, which is now part of Flow Gas, all of the independent petrol LPG cylinders. But they were about at least 100 yards down from the platform. There was 4 15-kilo gas cylinders in a cage, and then about another 50 feet away from them was another 4. And I thought, oh, maybe they use them for like defrosting turnouts, like the Americans have the propane heaters in big tanks. But there wasn't. I didn't notice that we were actually on the site of a turnout where the gas cylinders were. So why they were there, I don't know. And the other thing was there was a little area as you get on rail sides, probably a little further from an old non-existent signal box, a little maintenance of way area where they've kept surplus tracks, sleepers, bits of cable troughing, that sort of thing. There was you couldn't notice hardly any of it. I just noticed a stack of concrete trunking and the trough lids, a rotten little picket fence gate. It was all totally overgrown with marsh reeds. So obviously they didn't use that, and I thought, well, that'd be like a little thing to incorporate in a scene, was the lack of maintenance. Anything that's not too much of a priority, they don't. They've sort of forgotten that they've got a site there with parts in, and even if they did know it was, they couldn't. They'd probably look at it and say, oh, health and safety, we can't go in there. We might fall over something we can't see because we've let all the weeds grow around it. But yeah, there was a bit, I should have looked at the other side, because there's another thing I might incorporate in my modelling ideas is the grain flour production place in Downham Market, which is Favour Parkers, but it was rail served many years ago, I think during the steam period. But I was on the wrong side of the carriages for that. Hi, Stuart. Yeah, well, I think the gate going into the little compound was rotten as well, so I don't think that had ever been seen for a long while, because I am after a bag of track ballast. They do have some up the road from me on an old railway crossing, but unfortunately I haven't got a HIAB lorry to liberate one from their dumping ground. There was some on Facebook the other day. Someone had bought some for hardcore to use in their front garden as a driveway, and they'd got surplus. But I thought, well, that would be handy, but there ain't quite enough. Probably one of them they call them a ton bag, but they're usually about 700-800 kilos in them. I could do with a bag full of track ballast. New or used, it doesn't matter. We have got the reclaiming place in March, but I don't know whether they do over-the-counter sales to Joe Public. Doubletree parking is for the hotel patrons, but the car park site is all administered by MK1, which is basically everything around the footprint of the football stadium. You need the app called Ring Go, a bit like the old crisps. You need to log into that app and you pay online, put your registration in. I just updated mine because obviously I haven't used it since last year. Unless you're staying at the Doubletree, then they give you a ticket. And I think there's some kind of discount or Q code. I can't remember now, but I think you get £1 off a day. I think it's about eight quid parking per day for the hotel concessions. Obviously, if you come in on the Sunday, you should be okay to park on the main car park. But yeah, I think you'll have to go on the Ringo app, or I don't know whether you can do it through reception as you go in to Getz, because that's what I think they done the other year. I think they had a phone for people who weren't au fait with technology, who were parking there. Maybe, I don't know. Because obviously I'd already got it through the hotel, because you literally walk out the front door of the hotel and joined the queue. When I got out, I thought, oh, we'll get there early. And I sort of walked around as we got to the bar bit. I could see WWS Scenic setting up, and then I said to Brett, have you got a VIP ticket? Because I thought, well, this is ridiculous. You pay extra for a VIP ticket for early entry, because the time you bloody get there, everyone else is entitled to come in as well. And it was only because I see a couple of the other guys. I think Tim was over there with someone else. There was only 3 or 4 of us standing there, so to get in the early bird, which I think they're letting you in half hour earlier this time, but you can't actually go round. You can get in the building at 9, but you can't go round till 9:30 when everyone else is coming in at 10. But last year, everyone sort of went in early and made a beeline for Making Tracks. And I'm like, well, I ain't too worried. Myself, I didn't go there to see Making Tracks. I'd seen Making Tracks on Dave Fenton's videos on Megapoint so many times, I didn't really need to go around and look at it. And there'd been that many videos on YouTube. I sort of let the storm pass and went round in the late afternoon when everyone had whittled away. And, it was a long, that setup last year, it was quite long. Obviously the longest one in there, because it took up most of the room, which was to the begrudgment of some of the traders, I think. But I think it's a smaller setup this time, isn't it? And it's not complete from what I've been seeing on Megapoint's videos. But I'm sort of neither impressed by it or unimpressed by it, I think the newer buildings that he's doing this year that I've looked at, because they're laser cut and that, yeah, I like them, because I do like some taller buildings in mine. If I can sort of fit them in the grand plan to do a sort of city scene with some high rise council blocks, some of the old bit of a shady area of a council estate or something, and then you sort of filtering out to the industrial area and then past it into the countryside or whatever, or this sort of random urban sprawl, and then who knows, you disappear into a tunnel and reappear in Pennsylvania. Could be, you never know. Depends on what train track it is and what train's on the track. Yeah, VIP entry is 9 a.m, but you can't go round until 9:30, which was what it was last year. They'd let you in at 9:30 to go round. But I booked that anyway because I think it was only about 10 quid more than paying for 2 tickets for each day anyway. So I thought, I will sod it. And when you get all the magazines and gum for what they reckon is worth 25 quid, but I only kept one book from the 90s, railway from the 90s, and put the rest on free cycle and gave them away. Are you going this year, Stuart, or are you still on your lorry driving shifts ready for the next day? We didn't get, I don't think we got any Welsh contingent, have we? Chris isn't coming. Ben's not coming. We'll only have Lord Al from North Wales. And obviously Tim. Yours. Well, you can afford it, Mick. You're a pensioner. Turn the gas down 1 notch, I saw. Hello, David. Yeah, Tim's in Wales. Never mind, hey. There's one advantage, you get free prescriptions. I had one of my mates from the other year too. He sent me his painkillers. He'd had an operation and he'd got cocodamol left over, and he said, well, you can have me. He said, because I don't pay for them anyway. I said, well, I do. I pay for yours. Well, I did, because I was still working then. But I did get my prescriptions free this year, and I don't know how. I filled in the form, and I shouldn't have. I haven't previous years. There's a clerical error there. What could you buy at home? Well, nothing, really. What could you buy at home? Well, nothing, really. Unless you come and buy it first to compare it. When you get home, you won't know. Well, it's a birthday treat then, isn't it? Your missus should be paying for you to go as a birthday treat. Maybe even throw you in the VIP ticket as well in the hotel for the weekend. I don't know whether there's any rooms left at the DoubleTree. I know last time, 2 years ago, thinking about it, they'd all booked up. That's the beer done. It'll soon be time for coffee. I think the phone will whiz in a minute. Well, they are. If she wants to get rid of you for the weekend, as long as she's not got the window cleaner around while you're away. Even better excuse. I won't get any pocket money off mine. I might get that off for that week's shopping bill. Got the sniffles tonight for some reason. I blame the dog. Must be he's come underneath me bloody feet now, so I can't get my feet under the table. Little git. I've downloaded the software for this, but I haven't yet played with it or unzipped the software. downloaded all of the British sound files off the ESU website, and I thought, oh, I ain't got a power supply because I bought this in my last one, which you can plug the chips into and program and then run the test because it's got the motor on it and all the LEDs to simulate front and rear running lights and such like, and the speaker in it. And then I realised that it came with the lock programmer, came with the power supply. Obviously, it's a European socket, but having known that I was already got some Euro socket, I'd purchased a Ching Chong English plug. It's even got a fuse in it, which is highly unusual for Chinese ones. Probably aluminium, wasn't it? So I did plug it in, it did light up, so I haven't connected it. There is a special USB, an 8-pin, the old style 8-pin. I thought they would have probably changed that by now. So we have the Locky programmer, and then the little gizmo I ordered the next time off because I'd have been over the tax limit. So I got that as well because that was cheaper than buying the Chinese copy. Although they have cheaped out on it on their older version because they had a bigger motor and a better speaker. And now they've shrunk it down. Get the thing out. It's got a Sugar Cube speaker in it and then a little round dust cover on the back. I mean, obviously it's a test rig, so it doesn't really matter if it's not premium quality, and then a tiny little motor. I mean, you can get the size of my fingernail to the motor, but obviously it's only for testing purposes, so it doesn't have to be a thing. Right, Dino, catch you later, mate. So yeah, we can do our own sound files now. But I've got all the software on the PC. I just haven't had time to sit down and bugger about with it. So it's 10:30. It's time for my. I just heard the phone go off, so the old woman's wanting a cocoa or mint tea, like drinking a liquid polo. Ugh. Stinks. I said to her the other night, I brought the mint tea. I said, do you want some new potatoes in there? I said, the only thing that mint should be on is new potatoes. So, I'm a bit later on the phone than the computer. Let's just delete all the spam calls from the wife. I will, the app for what? The ESU, Jake? All of the software you download from ESU's website. There isn't a lot of paperwork with it, actually. It's just a little pamphlet in English and German. That is it. Opens up. There is a software disk you get with it, but it's drivers for the USB lead if you've got an old computer. Where is it? Power supply is provided. Obviously, you need a converter socket if you're buying the European model. System requirements. Lock programmer requires any commercially available MS Windows PC as a basis. This should be the following requirements: operating system Microsoft 8.1 or higher, installed Microsoft Net Framework version 3, Service Pack 1 or higher, a USB 2 or 3 port, internet connectivity to carry out the installation. But the actual lock program you download directly off their website as a zip file, and in the same area are all the sound files for all the European steam and diesel locomotives and British ones. So you got a hotel booking out, so you're then up on Saturday morning, check in. Well, you can't check in the hotel till 3, so depends on what time you arrive, really, if you're going to do both days. You do days parking on wherever you can get, because on the Saturday the car park's not available because it's all allocated to the football match. The magazine are recommending you park at the railway station, which is probably cheaper anyway, I would have thought. I don't know, but yeah, you might have to hunt around for a parking space until 3 o'clock, then move your car over to Doubletree, and then you can do that through that Ringo app, which is, there's a little piece of paper they give you, a little tiny little square sheet with the discount code and things, to do the hotel discount. And then obviously you just pay for a 24-hour parking then, because obviously it will cover whenever you book in to the following day. Yeah, I did Jake to my earlier Bachmann sound files, because you can save them on your computer and then put the newer hi-fi sound one in from, I think they're all from Southwest Digital still, the ones that ASU got on the website, so you could update your sound file from your existing one on an old Bachmann. There are software links on the ASU site to put another program. There's 2 programs, an earlier version which is compatible with the old Locksound 3s and 3.5s. I don't know what sound files are compatible with the earlier ones. You can put a newer sound file on the older chip, but obviously you can't probably do that with the most recent ones, because obviously their chips are much more advanced. But I haven't played around with that yet. That's probably not something I will do too much. Probably with my Class 20s, because I think the sound on them is a little bit not brilliant. It's okay, but it needs a better speaker in the Bachmann 20. Okay, but it needs a better speaker in the Bachmann 20, and a better sound file will only improve it. Because I haven't got the latest versions of the 20. I've just got another 20, which I think, I don't know, that has been on a video, but the actual purchase and requisition of it is on a video, but not coming out yet. I don't know how far down the line that is, but it's either the week before or the week after I picked this one up, because the guy I was going to buy the 20 off, it's the same guy Dino's just got his 37 off of. His 08 went for 110 quid, and I thought, I'm not paying over £100 for a second. It won't be 08. And then a week and a half later, I picked that one up for 70 quid. Yeah, you can, the Sound Studio in the ESU app. I have got another sound thing on here with my Power Director, but I don't know whether it's worth, whether it'll even read the files. That's the other thing, is obviously the language they've saved them in, file format, isn't obviously compatible with all other types of software, because I've got a Sprog. I did buy one of them from Hattons when they were going down the toilet. And I managed to pick a Sprog up for about half the price of what they are, which I think this uses JMRI software, doesn't it, in its basis. So I've got that as well, just because it's easier to do the CVs and mess around with your handset, pulling each one individually. It's not too bad for me because my radio programming software is very similar. I've got these two little wibbly wobblies. I've got this and the Baofeng, and the software you get with these. It's actually easier to program them off the PC. What frequency bands and frequencies saved, you know what's in your area worth listening to, which isn't much these days because most is digital. But I did take one of these with me last year in case I could listen into the security on at the football stadium. I never did pick anything up. Or shop watch, if there's any local shop watch, anything like that, you can still eavesdrop on. So I'll take one of them with me. So it's gone 10:30. She's messaged me twice now, so I bet it's coffee o'clock. So I will say cheerio on this test stream that obviously seems okay. Obviously I'm at home, so the Wi-Fi is stable, but the camera's performed okay and the audio is okay. I did try the microphone setup on this laptop is performed okay and the audio is okay. I did try the microphone setup on this laptop is not worth bothering with, it's diabolical, and so are the speakers. That's the only thing. I don't know whether I've got a little mini speaker I can use, because there's one speaker and it's in the bottom of the bloody laptop. I can't video on it, a YouTube video on it, because the sound is so terrible. So yeah, I'll waffle on no more and put the kettle on. We will catch you probably sometime over the weekend when I do a live from Milton Keynes. Won't obviously be on Friday because that's Anthony's slot, although I might be there, you never know. Depends on whether he's going to stream from the bar or the lobby. Catch you chaps at the weekend, or if not, on the next video. Where are we? In stream. Tutty bye.